Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hope everyone having a good weekend, and let's take a look at the market. Market's open in looks like futures are pretty good tonight. Again, we're still looking for another push higher. Another push higher. Perhaps several more higher highs. Another push higher, and of course you could always extend. So bears need to step up pretty soon, or this thing's going to be delayed. This pullback's going to be delayed again as the cycle continues to melt up. So let's go ahead and go into your symbols, and let's take a look at all your requests. I've got a lot to go through, so we'll just go ahead and get started. I'm going to try to go through these. And again, thanks for giving me your symbols ahead of time. Also, for our members, I made some changes to our videos. You probably saw that. For the most part, most people like them. I had a couple people that didn't, and I guess quit. Fine. If it bothers you, I think a majority of people liked the video updates, and that's just going to be the way it's going to go going forward. It's trying to make it easier on everybody. So I hope that works out, and we'll continue to add, services for our members, add more features, and drive continuous improvement in our channel. That's what I'm trying to do, so we don't stay stagnant. Okay, now let's go to the CME here. Let's take a look at the CME. Was our first request. Looking at it, just kind of on the big picture, looking for a 1-2-1-2, and we are finishing up this in a 4. The 4 does have the potential here to hit 248.70, 233.55. Okay, 4 or 5. Like I always say, it could raise divergence and extend. It could always do that, just like we saw here. And I believe the reason I have it in the 1-2-1-2 is all the peak RSI is way back here. It doesn't look like a 3 and a 4 here. So that's kind of the count we're going with. General Mills, one of our staples. A lot of the staples, guys, are getting into areas where bounce can occur. Some have already arrived and have bounced and are pulling back from a bounce, like Pepsi. Some, I think, still have more downside, like General Mills, potentially. So General Mills, looking like you've got this grand super cycle correction. Here you see a nice clear connector. So you can really project the first area where it could bounce at 45.09. We're almost there. But as we know on this channel, if you follow me long enough, the market loves to come back and test a wave 4 low, or even go just a little bit beyond it. So that could go deeper in the box potentially. Doesn't have to do that, but it is something to keep in mind, because what happens sometimes, traders make a big mistake and put their whole stack, their whole position right here, and don't think about if it went deeper. So this is just kind of a lesson that you have to learn, and how to ladder into a position, especially on a major low, because it usually takes time to come out, and you normally get a 1 and then another big 2, and that's just part of buying these deep pullbacks. Once in a while you do get lucky and get a V bottom, but that's the exception, not the norm. But it does look like we're hitting to our target area. A lot of divergence. That should get erased soon. And it's kind of on already has done that on the monthly time frame. So the weekly, it's a little too much. While the monthly is the most important, I'd like to see this at least come down a little bit, and you are wide open on the downside on the weekly. So somewhere down in here. BEPC, not a lot to go with on this, but we have some kind of three-wave move with the bottom here. Looks like 5 up and then 3 down, and now you're coming out in a what looks to be a 3 of 3. So as you can see, you don't have any force. So this should just continue to push higher, right? It should just continue to push higher. And looking at this, you know, chart, just kind of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. So it gives you an idea where you are on the cycle. So perhaps the easy money is over. And now you have to go through a topping process of sideways to higher price action, unless you get lucky and it erases divergence and continues to melt up. Okay, CCI. CCI is in the middle area. Let's kind of go back here. Take a look. I'm not sure what happened here. It's my chart. There. Okay, so we have a 5 up, grand super cycle. You hit that 4. You went just below it, like I just told you. The market loves to do that. You make three waves down, and now you're 3 waves here, right? Now the good thing is you broke this peak with that wick, so typically that would open up another swing higher no matter what happens here. So I do think it's likely to make another high at least, but again, you can't rule out a corrective bounce where it does something like this and then fails again, or you get lucky and then you have the start of an impulse and it's just about to come out. So I think for right now, and again, the best thing to do on this one would be just sitting on the sidelines and waiting. It looks like if that's 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, you would likely either this is the low here. You're going to do this, maybe go down just a little bit more and then come back up, or you're in this scenario and I'll label it again. This is going to be in a 3, 3, 5, and you could even break this low, which we see so many times, and then come back up. I would almost, if I had to guess, and someone's like, you better place a bet on one of these paths. This is probably the path I would place a bet on, but it's pretty much just my experience and just kind of looking at it. I think this is what will probably happen. But that's where we are with this. It's kind of in the middle area. The downtrend's over. Now you're just in this kind of, whether it's a basing process or another connector, we don't know yet. Bristol Meyers also looks pretty good. Bristol Meyers showing a 5 up and a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So big pharma is looking healthy. Okay. I mean, it can't be in a better position to move higher. Now, if we break, all we'll take is to break one of these lows and it will start a domino effect and the avalanche will build. So technically it's at the point where one side of the market will be destroyed. I'm willing to bet the long side will win, not the bear side. Now, if this breaks, that level breaks around 41, then you're likely going to break 35. And if you break 35, you're going down to do a double to 27.19. There's your 4. Just beyond it, there's your technical support from your prior peaks. So in some ways, that's a very elegant low, generational buy, long-term investment. You know, give your grandkids this stock if it comes here, but I don't think that would be my primary forecast. I don't think you should be afraid to go long given this setup, but if you do start to see it fall, especially when it breaks 42, then these lows are in play, the bigger lows. And what's going to happen is the bulls overplayed their hand buying the dip. They bought the dip, bought the dip, bought the dip, and then all that trapped buyers will puke it down here and capitulate. So I'm showing this chart, but there is a bear case that I can make, but right now I don't see it. So it's kind of like at a do or die moment. Bristol Meyers is at a do or die. There's another big pharma stock that's in the same do or die I found tonight, and I'll share that with elite members in their video tomorrow when I do my update tomorrow night. So this is do or die for the bull case for the short term. If it dies, then not all hope's lost. It just will come down lower, and then we'll come out. Okay, that's good. Thanks for that super chat, big super chat. Indo's kind of a tricky one. Again, if the forecast for oil is to eventually go lower, so it doesn't make sense that this would go higher until that low is finally met. But looking at this, it looks like we have, again, I'm going to try to, you have 5 down and an A, and then 1, 2, 3 B. So you have A, B, C, your first connector, A, B, C, your second, and now probably in C right here. So if this plays out, you would do something like this. And then top, because we made the lower low, now it's susceptible for this pullback, and that would make sense if oil will fall, the commodity price. So I think I'm going to go with this. Now if we break 264, then it's a more conventional correction. B is here, and then you have some kind of 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you'll just kind of come back and probably retest these lows. Ultimately, it's, it's not something I would want to trade right now. I mean, there is maybe a short-term setup if you really are paying attention to it and are close to your computer. As long as you can stay above 272, perhaps you can play this bounce to 365, 350. All right. Thanks. All right for that super chat. All right, EONR. EONR. EONR is Eon Resources. Hit our box exactly to the penny in the wedge with the right count. Almost a perfect chart, a perfect setup. 5 up, 1, 2, 1, 2. Is it go time? Looks like it's go time. Unless it does the double on this too, in a flat, and we come back down to 36 cents. So it can be a little erratic, so this is go time. If it does the double, maybe right around 35 cents, and then you're out. Likely to keep going. And this has that theme, right? It sounds like it's a resource stock, right? Resources. Again, engages in the development, exploration, production of oil and natural gas in the Permian Basin. Okay, so that's got, that future is coming. Now, oil maybe some energy gets a little bit here, and then oil pulls back and this can fall again. Hold it low, maybe it makes another low. So I wouldn't fall in love with it. You see, I only have 3 swings, but I think it's got more to go here. Okay, next is a couple more MSAI, some kind of AI holding. So when I looked at this chart right away, you can see here on the weekly cycle, you see how we broke the cycle, the downtrend with this 3-wave bounce. You broke it. Nice. But looking at this, just kind of, again, looking at it, it looks impulsive, and it just looks like you made a lower low here. So that means it's likely to fail. So this is likely to be, could be the top, and then it could take a whole nother leg lower. Reverse split, and remember what I said, once you make a lower low, anytime you buy it, you're up against that headwind. Now, could it do a double correction higher? It can always do that, and we've seen that before, and then it could then go back. So we're in this middle area, right? We're in this middle area, and it's going to make a decision. So it's not really a stock I'd recommend trading, but right now it shows 5 up, but it could be very misleading because it's like, wow, it's going to go higher. But if you look at the bigger structure, it's just a 3-wave corrective bounce. So, and look how sharp, how quick. That's typical of this happening. Okay, just something to think about. I can't really give you much more insight into this. I don't really care about whether it has AI in its name or not. It looks like it has some kind of AWS powered software, thermal ICI built thermal imaging, acoustic imaging, vibration sensing platforms, some kind of manufactured infrared sensor systems, some kind of test and measurement using AI sensors. I think it sounds pretty cool, right? But again, is it one of these zero earning PE 100, stocks that I think are gonna go into Judgment Day soon? They're not gonna they're not gonna be rewarded based on a dream. It's a $53 million market cap, and it has $1 million of earnings, of sales, and no earnings. So right now the market is behaving and it's performing well based on dreams, based on a vision, based on, hey, I can think of this idea, and they get rewarded. But the market we're going to go into in the future years is going to be like, now you got to show me the earnings, show me the product, build it. I want to see cash flow. And if it can't do that, no matter if you have AI or a great idea, it's going to need to dilute your shareholders to continue to run, because interest rates are going to be high. The cost of capital is going to continue to grow, and they're going to have to dilute. And that's what this arrow represents for a long time. So that's the future. So while this is a very sexy name and idea, this is something I'm telling our elite members to start to, eventually avoid. And maybe this isn't one that you want to fall in love with. The vision and idea is great. We want to find stocks that are going to be more resilient in what is coming for the market in the next year or two, and then coming out of that. This would not be one unless it could reinvent itself and get its sales going and get some cash. But it is nice. I'm just using this as an example. I won't say this again, but you can use this conversation, and you can take that and copy and paste it into Okalo, into all your favorite the names that have been pumping, and Judgment Day is coming for those stocks, and they may never come back to their prior highs. But right now, it does feel good. Enjoy the ride, but it's gonna come to an end soon, and just be ready for that. All right, PNSPF. I have no idea what these guys do. Let's see. Rare earth play. Yeah, I mean, very bullish. Usually these stocks, I guess, IPO and just collapse. This one did the opposite. Now, you only have 3 waves up, so it needs to turn. A lot of the rare earths got hit on that China happy talk recently. The happy talk out of China and Trump, kind of hugging and making up or whatever, hit the rare earths. But when you look at the rare earth charts, they all show another swing is coming. So there's going to be a renege of whatever happened. Whatever was promised is probably going to be backtracked pretty soon. if the rare earths predict that. And then perhaps when 5 is done, then more happy talk emerges later. But then when that's done, then you have a huge move. So the rare earths is still going to be part of the future equation. But right now we want the 5, and it really needs to do it like right now. But there's just not enough data. You can't even see a connector in here. It's just not enough. But I'd rather this than that. I'd rather PNSPF all day, any day over MSAI. Okay? Then do your charts support Solana fall into 118 or 53? There's unfilled fib levels there. Let's take a look at Solana. Bitcoin. Uh-oh. Is it time for 5? I mean, it's like, let's get this over with. You know, it's like, come on, guys. They're holding the invisible hands trying to get the last, the last dollar it can at 109. But where's Solana going? Solana, we did pretty well in the cycle from this low, right? Mentioning we had the higher high here, and it's like, hey, you got to buy this. And then we pretty much knew the top was in right around here on this 5. We had this nailed perfectly. But like we always say, what does the market do? You lose the whole 5. When the waves overlap, we always, almost, not always, but we most of the time, the market loves to come right between the 4 and the 2 on an overlapping wave. And ironically, that's our level right there, 144. Look at that confluence. The confluence right there. So that's what I would be looking for in Solana, right there. 144. It does have 5 up. You've already made a higher high here. Okay. Remember UEC? It made the higher high and then they annihilated it down. Eventually it came out. This is going to eventually come out. It's going to eventually come out. Right? I know there's a lot of bearish talk that crypto is going to be in its deathbed soon. I think some crypto could be based on the charts. And I do think there's a transition from crypto that has a purpose, that has a use case, like Solana obviously does, to ones that don't. And the ones that don't are gonna just continue to melt down, I think, and the ones that do a bid will come in. And we're gonna see that separation. And that money's going to move into those, out of those into the ones that do more useful things, right? The black swan event for crypto is quantum computers hacks the blockchain. But even after that, it will come back and survive because it always survives. It will find a way to reinvent itself and come back. So quantum won't be the end. It will be a Mt. Gox situation, part 2. When Mt. Gox happened, I don't think the feeling in crypto at the time, because I lived it, I was around there in the trade, in the thick of it, guys, trading. It seemed like it was the end of the world, like crypto would never survive that. But it survived. So quantum computers, yes, it will probably create a collapse like Mt. Gox did when that day that computer breaks the code. But the community will figure out a way to get through it, and it will, and something will come out of that. That's typical. That's what I think will happen. But when is that day going to come? No one knows. But it's inevitability. So it's going to eventually happen. But until then, we look at this. We have to just kind of, not worry about it. Like we don't worry about it. Asteroid could hit the Earth and nuclear weapon could go off. We can't worry about those kind of black. Those are world-ending black swans. We can't worry about a world-ending crypto black swan or quantum computers breaking it. But it is out there. It is in the psyche right now, and there's a lot of FUD, and that is driving Bitcoin. And it's also what's driving the Zcash, privacy coins. But right now, here it is. So Solana's here. So your question, let's go to your question real quick. Let me pull it back up again. So your question was, do your charts support it falling to 118 or 53? Well, I mean, once you get into the box, it could fall there. I think, based on my experience, you know, looking at it, it won't go deep into the box. So I think 115 is not likely, but I can't say it's a no. Then the other one is 53. That would be a bigger double off of this too. We have 5 up, so that makes it very difficult to do that. And we don't really see a 3-wave move. I mean, maybe I could force it from that low. A, B, C. Let's just say, okay, let's just force it. Just because I'm a perma bear, and then you get 59. There's your 53 target. But on this pullback, you made it to the 4 already, and you exceeded the 4. So this was deep enough. If it wasn't deep enough, maybe I could think that. Now this, a lot of people are gonna be all head and shoulders, right? Head and shoulders, oh my, OMG. Whole head and shoulders, but, right? That would get you to 59. So, I mean, I think it's like a 5% chance. That would be Bitcoin having to break the April lows in a flat. So if Bitcoin breaks the April lows in a flat, then yes. If it doesn't and holds the box I have, then you're going to get something like this. All right, we're just going to have to wait and see. So maybe you can buy a good portion of your position here and then save a little cash just in case it comes a little lower. Maybe that's the way to do it, and your cost basis would be somewhere around 100, and then you just got to hold through it on the rebound. Play the long game. Okay, let's take a look at next question. It looks like Alwyn here. Let me see here. Alwyn's question. For some reason, the super chat wasn't saved. Let me go back. I think I did download the symbols. Yeah, I did. ISMR is looking like a flat from this peak, 5 waves down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. So I would say we could call it a low, you know, and you can see, you know, looking at those candles, it looks like it wants to continue this impulse. Terrestrial energy. Remember, energy is kind of gonna be where we want to be. Now, I don't know if this is speculative energy or it's like got cash flow. It's like kind of nuclear speculative. It looks like a nuclear high tech, innovative, you know, type of stock. So, you know, maybe we'll start to get a bid here. I'm not sure. It looks like, did it just IPO or something? But anyway, well, that's the chart. We'll go with that chart, okay? Now, if it's 3 waves up, it can easily go lower. So you don't have a lot of data to go with. So I think you just have to trade it bullish as long as above 1575. Huntsman, we've done okay so far, just kind of waiting and waiting. I think I've been asked this one quite a bit, and the updates never changed, and we just keep going lower and lower and lower and lower. And guess what? We're almost at the wave 4. Okay, and we're probably almost there. We're probably very close to the low, I would think. I don't know. Let me see. So it's trying to do this count. Maybe it's that. I mean, you're not going to be able to time it perfectly. You're just going to have to either you believe in whatever this company does, and you've been waiting since March 22 to finally buy it. Well, now it's like, yeah, maybe it could go lower. Maybe it can go down to this 4 here at 534. But at some point, you either have to believe in it or buy. But I think there's no real direct setup. The only direct setup I can see is if we do this from a flat position, but that's at 363. So the Fibonacci support is at 363. So, you know, that may be an area where you try to target, but that's still a good ways from where we're trading. That would mean 5 would extend. If we went down there, that means we would get some kind of extension, right? And I can't predict that. I don't know if you'll get that or not. So you're just going to have to kind of just listen to what I've said and do what's best for you. All right, MPW, 5 up, 1, 2, 1, 2. It looks like it's truncated from this box just slightly. Lost the 4. Here's your 4. Nice reaction. Looks like it's finished. So let's see if this can push higher from here. If we do a double, that's going to be your connector. And then you would be looking to come back down to $4, likely to find a low, but it looks like you have 5 up. So I can't say for sure if that's the connector. It's reacted or enough. You've erased divergence. So to me, we got to build off of this low. And now you just have to wait and see. But again, the big picture is, this is the big picture, okay? This is just noise. The big picture is the big picture, right? And sometimes people miss the big picture. They're trying to get the perfect entry, and then it moves early, and then they get mad and angry. And I'm like, look, yeah, we had a box where maybe 50 cents off, but again, the big picture is still up here. So when it's trading at $10, are you going to care? Is it 5? Is it 4? I mean, so this is where you can really overthink and, like, you know, I guess think yourself out of a position, and you miss a big move because you're just so worried about a perfect entry, but you're not thinking the big picture where the overall chart is kind of telling you where it's going. And then you miss the breakout because in the wave 3 it breaks out usually before you expect it to. And this may do that. This may do that. And then that's it. And then the market moved without you. While you were trying to get this perfect position, the market's already moved. So I can't tell you how to trade it, but this is what I see right now, and you'll just have to decide what's best for you. Okay, FI. Pfizer. Yeah, this one double corrected. It's at a nasty. That was like WTF. What happened here? What happened here? Well, you know, we looked at this. There's the 4. So obviously you lost the whole 5. So one of the things, guys, I think about just 75% of the charts I look at, when they correct, they lose the 5. So when you're looking at a pullback on a on the full cycle, I think we need, when you see it, you know, shallow, it's usually a rare exception to have a shallow pullback. So I think in hindsight, you know, we need to expect deeper, and that's what it did, and it went through the 4. And now it's in a box off of this connector. And looking at this chart, it looks like 5 waves. There's your 4. I mean, it's in the right area. Now, do we have chart support? Problem is, we don't have chart support. We don't. Unless it's go wick back up, but we closed here. You see the wicks here and here? Would have been nice to close, you know, maybe back up at 74, but we didn't. We closed where we closed. This could be resistance now. So I think you need to be really careful in it. So I do have a box. It should react here, but just be careful it doesn't just melt down and go, you know, go back, you know, go all the way back down to the historic trend. And I call these is the historic trend right there. So it may have to go tap the historic trend line. So you may get a reaction and hit that resistance I'm telling you about up here, and then down, because you have no chart support, right? There's no real chart support. And right here at these peaks, it intersects ironically right with, so yeah, so I probably, you know, I have a box, but I wouldn't recommend buying it unless you just love this company for some reason and you just have an understanding of their fundamentals that I don't. Other than that, I think you react, because I mean, you haven't, the people who shorted up here are probably going to take profit now. in this area, and that's what this is going to represent. Okay, Pfizer. Pfizer's got a problem, a little problem with this lower low here. We had a 5-wave move to the top, right? 5-wave move, and then we had a 3-wave pullback. So this would have been a perfect low right here, and then the market gave us the lower low. So I do think market could rally and see, and then it may have another leg, another surprise up its sleeve. Now, could it be finished and truncated like that? Let's take a look on the weekly. Higher cycle is always the most important, and we didn't raise divergence there, and neither on the monthly. So this is actually super dangerous. I don't know if it's got company-specific issues that's going to emerge. Remember, it's kind of at the epicenter of this whole vaccine issues and all that drama. And they don't have a weight loss drug. They want a weight loss drug. So maybe it's not so smooth sailing fundamentally. So I think something like that. But short term, I think the shorter cycles is good. Now, if we start to break down, if we break this low here at 23.24, then they're likely to come back to 20. If you break 20, well then X was here, and then you have an A, B, or a W, X, and then you have one more Y, and that's gonna be a little more challenging to predict, but that probably gets you to 18.16, and that might be your final low. So Pfizer's not a chart I'd like to trade. I'd like to trade like Bristol Meyers. It's a better chart. This is not a good chart. Okay, CGC and Tilray. Social media currently on suicide watch. Any chances these can be massive pumps again? I think they're waiting for news, right? If you're a buyer, you're probably like, we need to know what Trump's going to do, and perhaps there's a few insiders that will get ahead of that news, and this will start to run before that news emerges. So CGC, I'm just counting the cycle. One more low. There's our box. There's your wave 4, 116. So maybe 114, but that's it. And then maybe news hits. But it needs that news. It needs that news that, hey, we're gonna like the federal government is declassifying it or something to that effect. You need that, and that's what this wave 3 represents. If you don't get it, I think it's just gonna meander around in this area for a while. Tilray also just kind of updating this chart, just making a few changes based on the latest data. 5 up, and then a shallow connector, and that gets us down to where we are now. And that explains why we never got a reaction here. So when we look at the corrective structure, now it makes more sense. So I think it was just an unusual corrective structure with a shallow connector. Then you can kind of get this box, and now this chart really matches CGC even, right? You're well beyond the force, so you're deep enough. It looks 5 beautiful waves up. It was on a live stream. We called the low literally here at 36 cents, and I told you guys to just go buy it, which I never do that. But I'm like, when we looked at the chart, we were like, yeah, I don't even need to label it because it's an ending diagonal. I could just know from looking at it. I know what it is. And I was like, just go buy it. And sure enough, it never looked back. Well, probably one of the best calls I've made. So watching my live streams can pay off once in a while. But there we are. So this is it. Obviously, it's kind of like leading. Like doing way better than CGC is. I think they will be pumps again. Yes, I think they will. I think this one will. Was it a 5 up for another swing? This one does have 5 up. I think they both will have another day of glory. Then once you get 3, then all bets are off. Okay, next is Ferrari. Ferrari is in a box for wave 4. I went ahead and updated this chart. 1, 2, 3, and now we're in a 4. So it's in a box. It should rally to 5, and then as you know, after 5, Elliott wave theory says you get a 3-wave pullback. That will correct the whole grand super cycle. Where is it? There it is. Something like that. We can't rule out the 1, 2, 1, 2. We never can. But you've obviously on this leg, there's your 4. You've went deep enough. You have 3 beautiful waves. It's just like a kind of a textbook setup. Okay, but do what's best for you. I can be wrong, but it seems like that one seems pretty textbook. I skipped over a question. Let me go back to it. WTI oil. Is oil going to 40 or 30 next year? Do you think the low will be closer to 50, 48? I don't know the timing of it, but I do think oil is going to go to those levels. I think we got a deflation scare coming, perhaps even a recession that will emerge as this plays out, this cycle plays out. Where can it go? I mean, this is tough because of the chart right now, but we can take a look at it. I haven't played around with it too much because I'm not really interested in trading it right now. So, see, you already reacted here. Okay, I just want to take a look at it. See, I'm not going to label this as a new connector. I mean, you could, but then you're thinking oil's going to like back to $10, right? If this is the new connector, I think we break that low yet. We haven't broke the low yet. So yeah, I mean, when you look at this from this bounce, when we bounced here, this had all the signs that this could be the low in oil, right? But then we only made 3 waves up, not 5. So it became a connector. So now you've come down, very impulsive move down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. You can see the labeling. So it's likely it's taken another leg lower. But you can't, the target's going to obviously, it's going to have to go lower. And when we look at where it is, I suspect, and again, I think, I'm just trying to think a couple ways to get the target. I think right there, $40.37 would probably be as low as I think it could go. You have a little bit of chart support here. So let's draw that line. I think that's probably the deepest I could see it going. Can it get all the way down there? Just kind of look at this wave a little bit. Maybe. So somewhere, I think the low's somewhere in here for C. And if it follows this current path, we get there by March 26. So it takes time. It takes some time to get there. Now, the problem with oil is it can bounce around still. We haven't broken this low, but as you know, this was looking like it was the bottom, a start of a new connector. This is very shallow, but perhaps the market's going to do a trick. And it's going to, in oil, and it's going to do something like A, and then we're going to have an A, B, right? And we're going to do a C, and we're going to come back up like that, where we'll finish, 3, maybe it comes down to like 50 or something, and then it whips it back up, only to come back down and collapse, something like this. I can't say I can't do that. So I think trade in oil is very treacherous until you get a clear capitulation, risk off, deflation, market crash, that type of thing. Once that happens, then okay, if oil is in its final leg. Until then, you're just chopping around. So I think the low will be closer to probably between 40 and 30. Next year, yes. Now the 50-48 target, if it does that, it's probably going to be in a whipsaw, and do that, trap everyone again, and then it will crash later, and then we'd probably be able to get a better target, and it still would end up below. So somewhere here. This is where I think it eventually goes. Somewhere in this area, general vicinity. And that's about as good as I can get, guys, on oil. Okay, we covered Ferrari already. Chipotle. Problem with Chipotle, it's got going on, is it penetrated deep into the box pretty quickly, and it doesn't have the subdivisions yet, so it's likely to go lower. Chart now, when that happens, I always go, where's chart support? And it's right around here. So you have 28. Highly likely, when you get to 28, you're getting a bounce. That's a bounce that's going to last several months. So that would end this cycle. So that would end this cycle. That would end this cycle. It would end the whole thing. So that's why I think the low is probably somewhere around here, in this area. And then the market gets to make its attempt to rally and either find the bottom and go to new highs, or fail, and this thing's going to have the massive inverse, the massive head and shoulders, and it will double correct from this box, and we would literally melt down, and you would lose. This would be one of the biggest pump and dumps we've ever seen, and we would go back to the historic trend line. It's probably somewhere around 10 bucks. So can I this? It's possible. Nothing's impossible in this market. You'll learn that quick. There's your wave. By the way, there's your wave 4. You see, you lost the whole 5, but we still have more to go, right? So I think well, the box is the box, and the reason you're like, well, why don't I just put the target here? Because the problem is the system is designed to do a Fibonacci extension of equal distance from the first leg, and that's how the algos tend to be programmed. So there's always a possibility of a V bottom anytime the box is hit, regardless of the count, regardless of the resistance, because the algorithmic and the computerized buyers, they don't have Elliott waves programmed in their algorithms. I'm almost certain of that. They don't have Elliott waves. They just have Fibonacci levels. I mean, they won't have, and they may have some of these major support areas, but they're not going to have it. They're not going to say, "Oh, we're going to wait to the foot." They're not buying on it. So that's why sometimes that's why the box is independent of the waves. That's why when two systems independent come together, that's when you get the higher odds of it in your success, because they're mutually exclusive. They're not interdependent. So that's why you still, when the box is in the box, you should start a position, because you just never know if you do get the V bottom. If you don't, the more conventional area is going to be somewhere down here. And so that's why you have to do money management and prepare for that. So I personally think the low is somewhere around where my cursor is. And that's what I kept saying to people. But that's what I think. Okay, Corewave. The buy zone, I spent some time looking at this chart, and I made some updates. When you look at this bottom, I think it's just kind of, wishful thinking to just put the blow here. I think this would be the right way to do it for now. And so the next area would be 68.57. And if that happens, great. If it doesn't, and we take out this high at 142, then we have to revert back to the lows in. Okay, and I do think this made a lower low, if I'm not mistaken. Right here. Right, we have a lower low. That's why I think it's going to take another leg lower. I just have to go with the system that I use. But I do think that since it's 5 up, ultimately it does another swing higher. After whatever mess it's in now, it finishes up. All right, next is this Puma. Puma. What is going on here? So Puma, again, we're just looking at our count. I mean, obviously it extended, but it may have erased divergence. As you can see, it did that here. So it negated the box. So it's just in kind of in this meltdown mode. But I think what I would do here is call this 5, and then we have to label it this way. And the reaction you got was it. That was it. And now you're in this next leg. You probably have a 1, 2 right up here. A 3, a 4, and now that could be 5 right there. We'll look if divergence is erased or not. That looks good. That looks good right there. It's a little bit. Let's go to the monthly. That looks good. So I think the monthly's turning up. You see that? The weekly is not, though. That's not good either. So we're probably extending the 5th wave more. So it looks like you're going to still push a little lower, and I would expect more downside. So I think we got to just ignore this box. I think looking at the count, looking the weekly cycle is just starting lower, more downside. Chart support. Let's take a look where major chart support is. Right around here. So you're going to be running into chart support. Now you could come below it a little bit. So yeah, it's just it's basically it's either got to survive or go bankrupt. LH. This one also doesn't look too good in this short area, getting rejected. And I wouldn't recommend trading it. There's really nothing else to say about it. If it was a U.S. airline, I would say they're about to, I got to imagine businesses dropping, through the roof with the air traffic control situation and people avoiding flying now and the government shutdown. So I got to imagine the airlines aren't going to have good numbers. I think United CEO is panicking. I'm sure it's affecting the whole industry. So there you go. Bear is another one like we've talked about. Bear, as you can see here. Let's take a look at this chart. Looking like some kind of flat. Maybe one more low. I would say we still can't rule out a flat from this low, but you see we went deep enough. We hit the 4. So we'll go with this count for now. But again, you have to think the bigger picture. Like I said, I want the super perfect entry, and then one day you wake up, news hits, it's at 40.37, and you missed the move because So I think the bigger picture, it's clearly bottoming, major low. We talked about that. We just saw Bristol Meyers. Okay, so there you go. I think it could go a little lower though. All right, Baxter, we've got one more low, and we'll check out our count just to make sure. Looks like I don't see the subdivisions. And we could be erasing divergence. So if that's the case, it will extend lower. What happened to this company? What a nightmare. I'm not sure what they did wrong. It was a really good company back in the day, the heydays. I don't know what happened. They obviously management effed up. But the good thing is there's some kind of turnaround coming here. So I think it's still in 5. This is depending on exactly where you draw it, it's major support. You would think you would bounce. So I think while we close below it, you're probably getting close to the end. Yeah, it was like a triangle, I think. So it was like a triangle. 1, 2. Could that be a 5? A 5 right here? I mean, we have to go. Let's go to a shorter cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 5. Yeah, see, we took that out though. Barely. Yeah, this one's dangerous. I don't know. I wish I had better news to share. This if it goes any lower, then we're gonna have to go back to a much more bearish view on this company. Yeah. 1, 2. I'm just kind of looking at our count. Yeah, actually, I put it here. A, B, C, 1, 2. Yeah, I think it's dangerous. You didn't even bounce where you were supposed to. I don't know. I think this is probably not going to be a 5. I bet if we do this next weekend, it's going to be lower. And the next area, let's go look at where the historic trend line is on this thing. $13. Maybe that's where it wants to go. So maybe that's where it's trying to head to. You would think it would bounce there. You would think the look at this collapse. It's almost the same fractal. Look how it ran up and then it collapsed. And then this fractal, that's the child, and here's the parent. You run up and then you collapse. Child, parent, same fractal, you know, and then so then maybe this will turn into a 2. So if we erase divergence, this could become a 3-wave move, and then then we can find a low. And maybe that's what it's trying to do. And then we just have to update this chart as a B, C. I'll do it later, but I would say expect it to hit this line. Looking at the fractals, it's a race and divergence. I think it's going to hit that. And it would be trading at a price it traded at back in 2001 and 2002. So if you are a buy and hold investor, you basically made no money unless it paid a dividend. I don't think it paid a dividend. But I think it had spin-offs. So you got stock in spin-offs over the years. Okay, that's all I've got on Baxter. Deep dive into Devon. Looks like 5 up from April lows. Shouldn't we see another 5 up before those lows break? Well, there's always another chart. That's why 5 up can be misleading in this kind of connector. 5 up does normally mean an impulse and you get another swing higher. But in a ABC expanded flat connector, you have 3 waves up in A, 3 waves down in B. Then your C is always 5 up, which is why it's such a dangerous trap. And it's always 5 up, so it's very misleading. And the reason, we think that now if they could have held this low, then that's different. But see how it made the lower low after a reaction higher. So unfortunately, I still think it's that the market it has to prove itself by taking out 37.39. If it can't do that, this is what the forecast is, and I'll have to stay with it. Again, because we have a lower low here and we have 5 up, because again, expanded flats that you trade on a downtrend, right, have to be 3, 3, 5, and that's on a downtrend. On an uptrend, right, we see this on an uptrend here, A, B, and C, right? If that's the peak, 3, 3, 5. So it's just upside down. It's just a reverse of that. So that's why 5 can be very misleading. That's why you have to know your corrective structures. If you don't know them and you just go by 5 waves, you can still get blown up. Also, if you look at this downtrend line, you tagged it, collapsed, tagged it, collapsed, you tagged it again, and now you're starting to collapse again. So the market still cannot break this downtrend. So there's no reason to show like, oh, it's going to go higher. Like you should expect it to go lower. And then when we looked at the connector, the box is down here. Still way down here. And we saw where oil could go by March. If oil goes to $45 a barrel, do you think Devon Energy is going to be higher or lower? I think it's going to probably be lower. That's what I think it would be. So anyway, that's all I really can talk about on Devon. I mean, that's, to me, I think you just have to be patient and wait for a clear, and we'll see what happens. Zcash has been doing amazing. Of course, that's our next question. But all good things come to an end. Let's take a look at where we are with this. I could be off by a swing somewhere. One more 5 of 5 of 5. Again, what do? We lose the 4. On the higher degree, that 4 is all the way back down at 128. There's your wave 4 cluster. So when this finally ends, it's likely to come all the way back down. Maybe 97, 83, somewhere in this area. And has some fibs around 120. Yes, I think the answer, yes, I think it can go to 120 when this cycle's over. Okay. I don't know when it's going to end, but when it does end, that's probably where I would be looking. I think that's a pretty straightforward one, but it's, like all things, it takes time, especially with crypto corrections. Hive stock on the 4-hour or daily chart. Let's take a look at how Hive's doing. Hive's in a middle area at the moment. So on the 4-hour chart, it looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4. It can't really go any deeper, and as you can see, the 4's already reacted, so this cycle's over. So it has to hold this low. So if it's going to make a 5, it needs to do it now. Now, what if it doesn't make a 5 and just goes down? Well, it could be a couple things, right? It could be corrective from this low. We could have the wrong structure, or it could become a lead-in, a lead-in diagonal out, ABC for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course you go higher. So that's the thing. But if we do break that low, we could have a target area we could try to target, and that'd be 329. It would be a 1, 2. So in an ABC. So that's the setup there. The 4-hour is showing, it's almost fully reset, right? It looks to me, yeah, I mean, if you draw it, it looks almost like it is too deep right now. You see that? You see how it just broke? So I'm still calling it a 4, just based on the way it looks to me, just my professional judgment. If I don't call it a 4, then it's an ABC and it's a 1, 2, or it goes deeper to the $3 level and 1, 2, and then it does a 3, 4, 5. And then the daily cycle, right, is kind of showing the same thing, pretty much at the lows. We're not at the highs, so I'm still showing it as a 4. So I still want to show it as a 4 for now, okay? But do what's best for you. We'll see if this holds. I guess you'll know tomorrow maybe, right? Tomorrow, because it's going to break that low tomorrow. If this low won't hold. Now, if this low doesn't hold, we know the target. All right, the next question is what price level? So Vuzix is double correcting. Again, if that's the 4, just be careful. It may go deeper into the box, 281. Okay. Could it go to 287 or less? Yes, it could come anywhere in this box. So it could V-bottom here with the algos at 324, or it could, the more classic, the more orthodox way of looking at it, comes down to like 280. So there you go. Doing a double. We had the first 3 waves. Boom, nice reaction, but it failed, so it does a double. And guess what? If it does it again, you can just keep, because it's likely this is the major low here. Just looking at the overall picture of it, okay? Now, could this be corrective on 3? Let's take a look. Always open to that. You see, we have divergence. We wouldn't want to see any divergence at that peak. We already see that. And you see that, so no. So you wouldn't think it's that, right? You wouldn't think it's that. 3 waves. It's 5 waves, right? It's 5 waves. Or I'm sorry, it's not. It's this count. If anything, yeah. This is. I'm pretty confident that this is the count. So, all right. Next is MLGO, microalgo, bottom bounce. You get the idea. Just grinding lower. Maybe at some point this finishes. We only have a corrective move. It failed. And we're making another leg lower. And we need to make it in 3 waves. So, depending on the way this looks, maybe it does something like this. Right? So something like that is what I'm thinking. Honestly, as this chart, I wouldn't trade. I just find something else to trade. But since you asked, this is what I think it's going to do. If it goes any higher, well, then we would just be in B early. We would still need C. Newegg looks pretty good. This was another one early in my channel we picked out. Some people still own it from that, and I'm really proud that they still held it. It makes me feel good. People making money like that. So here we go. Yeah, something like this. I updated the count, so it gives you an idea. I think it's still got more upside in the 4s and 5s. And again, I tried to do the best I can. Maybe I'm off by a swing somewhere in here, but we'll just go with that for now. So more upside, but I think that I mean, it's got to slow down at some point and then have a really big pullback. So something like that is what I'm thinking. All right, LEU, Centric Energy. We had this dip buy in 4, nice reaction, made a higher high. It almost looks like you made it in 5, so it could be a 1-2, 1-2 setup here. And come out. Let's see. Yeah, I saw that low. That's probably why I had it labeled that way. So the other possibility is, since there is 5 up, this is 3, 4, 5. It's like 1, 2, just subdivision, can't really see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think we'll label it this way. There's your 4. And again, it's too short of a cycle, but that's either the low here or you're in a connector and it goes down another leg, which would be another great opportunity to buy it if it were to do that. Yeah, 333, $333. This is another one that I think will make another high. Okay, let's see here. We already covered Chipotle, and we'll cover that. Ethereum. Again, if the forecast is for crypto to go lower, we would see this kind of capitulate down to 27.41. It's correct in this full cycle from here. Again, we had that buy and then kind of came out, and then kind of a real kind of wonky correction. We'll go with this for now. Trying to fight the market makers. Got it here, got a reaction. Got it here, got a reaction. We'll get it here. Eventually, we'll find the low. I think this is going to be okay in the future. One of the ones that have a purpose. This coin obviously has a big purpose. It did break this all-time high here. So it's likely it has opened up the next leg higher, and they're just trying to slam it back down to shake out the last weak hands before they run it in the breakout. Okay. Good luck on that one. XRP. I have to go back to my XRP chart, see what I've got on that. XRP had that big capitulation move, 3 and 3. Unfortunately, a lot of crypto looks like this. So I think what it's gonna, a lot of this that had these flash crashes have this count. I think it's going to do a flat, and then it's going to have to hold this low. I think it's going to be really difficult to find where does this end, but it's likely to do a flat. All these that have this look, there's I could take this chart and copy and paste it for like five of your main, like they all look, any ones that had the flash crash will look like this. I think they're all going to do the same thing, but how deep does this go is really tough to say. I mean, maybe the first area to target is 207, 187. That's the kind of more classic, conventional area for it to find the low and then come out. But make no mistake, it's got to hold this flash crash low. If it doesn't do that, and then it's maybe it may not make it. Whatever, if these flash crash lows break on these altcoins, whatever altcoin breaks the flash crash low is probably going into the death spiral. So the good thing is you found an important level. The market found such an important level that you can build from. So if you break it, then you're in a lot of trouble as an investor. Hell of a lot of trouble. So now you know what you're working with. Okay, Bitcoin dominance. Let's take a look at that. Last time we updated this, we expected it to go lower, and it has done that. Looking at this chart, just take a look. Real erratic. Let me just look at this again. Yeah, this is tough to chart because it's such a erratic connector. I'm torn between making this make one more high before you get this major drop. But it's already pushed down so far. Look at that monthly. Yeah, I bet it makes another high before it breaks down. So I'm gonna have to make an update to this chart, and we're gonna make just a couple changes. I still have it going down where we have it. I think it makes another high though. And then that. That's what I think is going to happen. So I think we'll go with that. Okay. This one's the move down here was so severe. I don't like labeling it that way, but I'm going to do that anyway because I look at the monthly cycle, and if we get a reaction, we should get another rally soon, and it may already start to do that here, but I don't think it would be a significant one. This one's not as reliable forecast. Now, one thing we would say is, since there's 5 down, it is likely to make C. 5, A, B, C. So I would still think whatever happens, eventually you're going to get this B. This will happen, and then when that happens, then I think, this is, I guess, your alt season, right? So maybe this is your correction in crypto that's coming, and then this is the big move off the lows when people are the most bearish. That's what maybe this is saying here. Okay. Track or Origin Trail. Okay, never heard of it, but that's fine. Again, kind of was down. Now, this one does not have a lower low, so that's good. Now, the problem is we only have 3 waves up. So we only have 3 waves up, which means it's a corrective bounce. We don't have an impulsive bounce. That means we don't know if the trend is higher or not. And then you have, looks like 3 waves down. or even 5 maybe, possibly 5. Probably 5. So what does that mean? It means you need to be really careful in it. So there's not enough data to do a proper analysis of this leg. So if this is 5 down here, right, you would have 1, 2. Again, I'm just drawing it. It goes down, right? The trend is lower. Now, the problem is, since it's in 3 waves and this isn't complete, this can morph into anything. I can label this 3 or 4 different ways. So I think you just don't really have enough data to accurately predict where it's going to go. I think you need to just kind of keep an eye on it. If it breaks this bottom level at 29.86, then it's likely to continue the meltdown. If it can come back and break 86 cents, well, then it's likely to make another swing higher. There's really not enough data to properly analyze it, but I did the best I could. All right, next question. Do you think MP will fill the gap from $30 rip up from July 9 or a good entry point? I think MP's at a good entry point right now. Like right now. But it's a back test in the breakout again, and it's in a box that could be 4. So if not, you should get a reaction here. I mean, I would expect a reaction, and then if it goes deeper, well, it still would be 4. So I think you're going to get a reaction here soon. And so the gap from 30, that could fill later when 5 is done. So once we get 5, I mean, the conventional like view of this would be like A, B, C. Right, I'm going to try to draw this. You get 5, and then you get a big pullback. Boom, boom, boom. Right? Something like that. That's like the, the typical nice, safe, like easy chart, the show that makes probably the most elegant, right? And then when this bottoms, then it goes higher. Right? So that's the more conventional path. But as you know, it could take a lot of different paths. So can it get to 30 if it follows this more conventional view? Yes. How long will it take to get there? Who knows? Now, if it takes a more aggressive view, like a bullish view, then well, then this could even be a 1, 2. What if this is another 1, 2? Who says that can't be? Then you never see 30 ever again. So that's why I always say you got to do what's best for you. I think you're going to react soon. I think whatever happy talk with China is about to potentially unravel, according to this chart. Okay. Yeah, I mean, usually your wave 4s are your good entry points because wave 4 support, right? You have 4 and 4 and 4. If it's a 4 here, even if it double corrects, it probably won't go much lower than this anyway. So yeah, I think this is a good entry point. Look at all the support, and you have you have a lot of support here. So this is probably a good entry point. Okay, but do what's best for you. Lyft. All right, that one has been not doing that great, I think, if I remember right. We had this short area and got rejected. So we're looking for one more low. So it hit the short area, and there it is. So it's fine. So if we can make one more low, and it can survive and not go bankrupt, then you're good to go. So I would say, as long as it's below 2361, it's in danger of this 5. Now, if it can come out and take out this high, well, obviously C extends, it squeezes higher, and then perhaps you have something that you can work with from a bullish standpoint. But as you can see, this too, look how strong that bounce is. I mean, this could bounce, as strong, right? Just as strong. right? That's what I have it here. Now, why don't we call that the low? Let me see. I have to reacquaint myself with the chart. Yeah, I think we didn't call it the low because of the divergence on that bottom. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is too bearish. Let's take another look. I haven't looked at the chart. I didn't do this one ahead of time, so I haven't looked at this yet. No, we're breaking out. The monthly's at the top, so we know when another pullback's coming. The weekly cycle is getting a little bit of a bounce, but needs to fully reset. So 1, 2. Yeah, I think this is. I think we'll go with this for now. We'll still go with this chart. I think we'll go with this for now. All right, good luck on that. MNR, another natural resource play. Mock Natural Resources LP. All right, let's take a look. Looks like some kind of 5 waves up here. So we'll just label it. Right, there's your correction. There's your first connector. That's probably your low right there. Right in that area. And then it rallied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, see, too corrective of a move. We're still in the same correction. Maybe a triple. So this one, it needs to hold. Well, this one's coming off of 0, so so it can go as low as it wants to go. Yeah, it's likely to go lower. Let me go back to the monthly. Yeah, so we're gonna have to update. So this is the new connector. So I suspect it's gonna make another leg lower, and then find a low. So we can try to get a box on that. I'll just put the box here at 950, somewhere in this area. I think that's where it's heading. And probably do something like this. Kind of like what that did. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is probably going to finish soon. Rally, fail. Okay. Cisco. Let's take a look at that. All right, looking at that chart, we have to go to even a higher time frame. So that's your first 1, 2 right here. And then this is another 1, 2, but it's not a 3, 4 because it hasn't taken out those peaks. So let's see. Some kind of, probably another 1, 2. Or flat from this peak right there. I bet it's a flat from that peak. 1. So it's likely going to do a flat. It looks like it's already starting. It looks like 3 and 3. So we'd be looking for somewhere around 52.70, 43.21. And then that would probably set you up for a really nice breakout at some point. There's your wave 4. So yeah, somewhere down in this area, I'm thinking. Looks like it's trying to do a flat here off this peak. Like that. and then a really nice advance in the years to come after a little mishap with probably with the market just kind of tanking. A lot of things are going to kind of do this, and only if you want to be in the stocks that show this like 3 of 3s. This would be one of them. So there you go. Okay. Hanging on for dear life for a fifth wave in uranium stocks. I heard you say many times a fifth wave isn't guaranteed. The reason I say that is for corrective structures, just to kind of make sure I make this point pretty clear. Why do I say such a thing? So if the market goes up, let's say you have a stock that goes up in 5 waves, right? And everyone's super happy and we're all like, oh, this is the greatest thing. And then it starts to correct down. Okay. And then you come off the lows, right? You want to see 5. Okay. Now, but what if you make your 3-wave move? I'll do something a little more realistic. So there, you make this 3-wave move and you come off the lows, but you only make 3 waves. Well, it could double correct and come down again. And then it turns into a WXY. And then you find a low, and then you hope to get your 5 waves. So the question is if you're in uranium, or any stock for that matter that's off its highs, see, it's off its highs, and you're in 3 waves, and you're here, there's no guarantee, or if you're here, there's no guarantee you're going to get a 5. There's no guarantee. You get 3, but there's no guarantee for 5. If you don't get 5, then you could get this. That's why the best setups off the lows is when you see 5 waves in A, then you're like, I'm going to get C. But once you get that 3rd wave, then you got the meta, then you're in a kind of a guessing situation. Because if you don't get the 5, guess what? You're going to get this. And you're going to lose everything. So yeah, you're holding on for dear life. The thing is that's the risk you're taking if you're doing that. The other thing is you're below the high. Now, if you're above the high, it changes things a little bit. That changes things. But if you're below the peak and you only have 3, once you start pulling back, there's no guarantee you'll get the 5. If you get the 5, great. Then you could say the correction's over, right? You'll get a pullback and you go. And then you'll do it. But if you don't get the 5, you could get this and you can get annihilated. And that's what I try to say, guys. That's the point I'm trying to make. So when you're trading those speculative stocks and it's already made 3 waves moves up and you're below the all-time peak, you know, your odds have dropped tremendously in terms of having the advantage. Now the house has the advantage. You don't anymore. As a trade, the market maker has a huge advantage over you, unless you know something fundamentally about the company or something that we don't know. You're just kind of guessing at that point. So that's why you gotta be careful in some of these speculative uranium plays, okay, or any of the speculative plays that are all 3 up off these lows. BYND. So when you see 3 waves, that means the pump has happened. The pump is come and gone, and if you're trying to play for a 5, your odds are very, very little, very low. Here's a great example. Mine Beyond Me. 3 waves. Did you get a 5? Hell no. Do you think you're going to get a 5? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know why anyone would think so now. So this chart looks like it's starting the next cycle lower. I mean, that's what it looks like to me from this C. 1, 2, right? So maybe it's going to get a counter trend rally soon. So maybe it's going to rally soon, right? Hey, well, you know, if you're really into trading, right, you could try to get that to rally soon, and try to play that. If again, I don't typically recommend it. 1, 2. That's too high, so probably got that subdivision off a little bit. Maybe like that. So I want to put the 5 there. Yeah, I think this is where we put it. So if you can finish with some bullish divergence on the 4-hour, then you could try to play this counter trend rally. So this 4 is probably going to rally a little bit more. Do something like that. Yeah, something like that. And then what you're hoping for is a bounce, but that bounce will fail at some point. That's probably what's going to happen. This box is not, that was for the other, that was for over here. So I think that's what we would go with for now, right? And of course, if you're a bull, you're hoping for a double correction higher now, right? You have 3. So there's your 3, okay? So the opposite. Maybe you won't get the 5. If you don't get the 5, well then you have a small chance that on the way down you have an A, B, C, and it's finished here. And then you get lucky in the casino and you get this other reaction, a double. There's no way to know. There's really no way to know. The best clue would be is if 4 gets to be too strong, right? If this goes higher and higher and higher, then you know, okay, this whole cycle's over. You didn't get any divergence at this low on the 4-hour. Well, now you could start to think, well, maybe I'll throw a lottery, buy a lottery ticket in the casino and try to play for that. So that's what I would probably do. If I had to trade this, I would wait to see how strong this 4 is, and if it can be pretty strong, then you're like, hell, let's buy a lottery ticket. Let's see what happens. And then you can play for the double. If not, if you get this 4 and 5, well then I think you'll bounce here, and then it should fail, and I wouldn't trade it at that point. So that's how I would trade Beyond Meat. Tesla is like one more high, I think, right now that we have on our for our pro group members, showing one more high, maybe 469. I'm sorry, it needs to take out 472. So somewhere between 472, 483, I think it goes higher. And then, of course, it pulls back with the rest of the market. Because it's going to have to correct this whole cycle from April. So back down. I can't, though, guarantee that. So if you're hoping to time your move in the market, good luck with that. Because yes, we're hoping for a pullback. And then we're hoping for the breakout. But as you know, this has been lagging. We've already broken the high here. There's always a possibility it's just ready to go. And the market leaves you behind. So the long-term view on Tesla is still very bullish. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? It looks very bullish on the grand super cycle. I can get rid of that here. But that's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks like to me. And obviously, this looks like the future, right? It's a future builder, right? It's going to be building robots, building out AI equipment, right? Now, is it selling a dream that isn't going to come true? I mean, that's what some people think. But if he can produce the robots and produce the stuff that people want, then I think it'll do okay. Looks like crypto's starting to struggle here. Uh-oh. Okay, STAA. Surgical company. What's going on here? In a box. Crash correction off this connector. It looks only 3 up. So again, it's kind of like the same conversation we've just been talking about. It's either going to be down into the abyss, or you make a 5. We don't know yet. pretty strong pullback. But on the weekly, it's okay. So I still call it a 4. It's obviously correct in this whole leg. And even this whole leg. So it's got to hold that low. So you got to get we got to get the 5. We really need the 5. Now I'm going to go ahead and label it. So we'll see. Let's just label it something like this for now. The other chart, it could be ABC, 1, 2, and then some kind of ABC, 3, 4. So you get the idea. But it looks like when you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no divergence here. So that's why it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. But then you pulled back. So it's a very conflicting chart. So yeah, I think we go with we'll go with leading diagonal, which would also be corrective. So it's this. So we don't know. Are we gonna get this or are we not? And this is just ABC, ABC. Crypto CRV. Yeah, again, a lot of these charts are not updated since the flash crash. Let's take a look. All right, so we had 3 up, 5 down, 3 up. We can't see the subdivisions. Did it hold that low or break it? Looks like we broke the low. Or actually, the same price. Let's look at this other exchange. Oh, it's the same. Yeah, that one held the low. So we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. We'll say it held the low. So if it held the low, if it held, obviously we need to stay above that flash crash low, or the chart's screwed. It's a go to zero coin. And we have to just look at it from an ABC standpoint. And it's like Ripple. Like I said, it's the same chart as Ripple. This, I could copy and paste this over, 10 different coins that flash crashed. And now you're going down in this 2-wave. So we'll just draw that and see where it goes. I mean, this one's a little different because you don't see the flat. Yeah, I'd be careful buying it though. I just don't know. Like, it's hard to buy something when Bitcoin's still not. Maybe you want to wait till Bitcoin is more stable and see if this can hold this level. But we've had boxes before, like in Zcash, and they moan and they don't care about Bitcoin. So I'm not telling you not to buy it, but this is the chart I'll give you. Do what's best for you. I mean, looks like it's coming into a box, and I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. It held the low. And then we just don't see the subdivisions and whatever this is. We just have to assume that was some kind of 5-wave move down. And we'll go with that. Unfortunately, it's tough. Those charts got really messed up with that flash crash. Can you talk about the consumer staple sector? Things like CAG are so beat down. Yes, I think from fundamental standpoint, the staples maybe a rotation play as the market goes into a meltdown situation, a sell-off that's coming. I believe if you see deflationary pressures come into the market and oil goes down, their profit margins will go up, because do you think they're going to lower their prices? Probably not. So they're going to have more margin expansion on that. And of course, they're a defensive play. Anytime the market sells off, everyone goes into the staples. So I can see the staples being like bid. Maybe the only thing that can go or run in the sell-off that I see besides short-term treasuries. And if you look at the XLP sector, it's getting to a critical area as well, showing another big breakout, just like Pepsi's chart showing. So one of the kings of staples. So I think, to me, the staples look okay right now, but I would see some short-term weakness still there. So I still see some short-term weakness coming. But I mean, it's been correcting since, for a while, depending on which particular stock. So like the one you're talking about, is been, yeah, it's as beat up as it can be, right? But it is in a box. Now the wave 4 is at 15, so maybe it's coming down to the wave 4. Let's look where chart support is, and that's where you have chart support. So maybe the super duper perfect entry is right here at 15, right around here. But yeah, I mean, if you're a long-term investor, I don't know why you wouldn't want to not buy some of these. And that's what I was saying about Pepsi. But yet, no one wanted to buy it for some reason. I know some people probably did, but again, you can't always buy all the sexy names, right? You have to buy stuff that, you have to buy other things. You can't just buy the sexy names. I think it could go a little lower. Okay. Sent 5 L gift popcorn tuna. Hey, thanks for the gift membership. I don't know whoever you sent them to. I think they're going to be really happy with the membership. I hope you benefit from it. Thanks. Vale. Yeah, I was just looking at Vale the other day. Vale was one that, again, the market loves to test patience of a trader. It languished in the box, and now it's coming out. We had this on our live stream. We've talked about it as elite members, and it finally came out. So I have it in a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 going into 3 of 3. So if you held through this area, you're going to be very happy. And I think it's got more upside coming. I think the chart speaks for itself. And that's kind of where I see it right now. So obviously it needs a lot of 4s and 5s to play out. FCX looks pretty good, but the problem is it's kind of jammed up. I think the market is trying to shake out the retail trader, but the retail trader is a lot smarter these days, and they just can't do it. Look at this massive. This is the future, guys. This is the future, right? I mean, this is going to break out. It's going to be a bull market for years, maybe decades. Again, I know everybody loves the hot high flyers, but this will be in the vernacular and lexicon of all traders in 10 years from now. Everyone's going to be talking. By now, no one talks about it. So maybe it's this. If it can hold that low, that's the ideal case. It could double correct. Come back down. I actually think this is 3 waves up. So that's why I'm worried that it does a bigger double. But the XME doesn't show that. The XME shows higher. The sector shows a little higher. So maybe it could surprise us and make another move, or it does a bigger 3-wave move, and then it comes back down again. So I think that's possible too. So if you're looking for, instant riches, I think you got to look elsewhere. If you're a long-term vision and you have a longer view, this is you buy, and you just keep buying, and then you get rich later. If you can't do that, then I wouldn't day trade this. This is not really a day trader stock. This is long-term investor, right? That's what we're doing here. Buy, and we'll buy it again. So it's inevitable this is going to come out of this. It's just inevitable. Okay. BPTASX. Oh, okay. Beach Energy. Looks kind of like the XLE. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have a 1, 2, 1, 2. Right. And then here, it overlaps too much. Probably 3, 4. That's probably 5 right there. Yeah, probably do something like this. There's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you pulled back, crashed. There's your 4. You lost your whole 5. Big blow off 5, all gone. And now, like rest of energy, it's kind of just waiting for that signal, only showing 3 waves. So it's tough. I mean, could it shock us and make a double, a quick double? It could do that. It's only showing 3 waves. So I think we'll just label it this way for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, something like that. It's got to hold 99 cents for this to be valid. If not, then it's going to do a double off of this peak. And that'll get it back down to 55 cents. It would do a double. Just so I don't like all this overlap in waves. So it's very very tricky right now. So I would just look for something like this. But if we start to lose these levels, then it's going to do that double and 2, and just it's kind of fortunate you get to buy it again before it has the big move higher in the future. All right, PayPal. PayPal, we're showing more upside. Here you made a lower low. I don't think that's the peak. So let's just see now if it's still in this 2. So the most important level is 55.42. If it can't hold that, and it won't be able to extend, and then that means X is in. And then you would have A, B, and then C. And the target, the final target for the final low would be somewhere around 38.88, 40. So somewhere around $40, $38 if it breaks this low. I think I suspect it pushes higher like I have, and then this comes later. But since you have a lower low here, I would be really careful getting all bulled up on this. Not sure why it won't be successful, but I would say just, yeah. But the thing is, C could just keep going too, you know, right? It could even do something like this, like that even. So we just don't know. So I think we just play it in the uptrend for now. So we just say it's in the new uptrend until we have evidence to say it is in band 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's that A, B, flat, C, and this is just a mess. It could be a 1, 2, 1, 2 here. I mean, it could be 1, 2, but probably not, right? Probably not. But that'd be super bullish. So maybe it's going to come back down somewhere down to 61, 60. Like I said, it's got to hold this level at 55.98. Okay. All right. So I think I covered all the super chats. Let me just kind of scan through comments tonight. I wonder if crypto will eat PayPal's lunch. It's possible. Maybe they mismanaged their capital structure, their business. Remember, their business isn't just crypto. It is consumers having money and read the retail, and that may not be that healthy right now, right? Tommy Lee will ever be bearish? I don't know. Who knows? He's the typical perma bull. We know who the perma bears are. Well, we have our perma bull. GME go time. I hope so. We always do. Hey Sage, new member, love the market updates. Thanks. I appreciate guys saying that you like the updates. Missed my NE and IC request. Okay, I'll go back and do that. NE. So right away, typically you see the lower low, but this cycle's a little different because it starts from zero, right? Because it starts from the beginning. So it's probably something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So it can go lower, and it's got to just hold that low. So we're gonna say it's from a new cycle from the low, from here. It looks like 5 up from that high, and then that looks like 5 up too. No divergence, no All right, so you're jammed up in another connector. It could turn into a flat. It looks like only 3 waves, looking at the RSI. So, but it did go deep enough on that pullback, so it's kind of tough to say. But you see you made a higher high, so I'd be leaning toward more upside, and I would just kind of hold through that. It looks like it's going higher. The next is, the other one you had was what? INCY. So you did break this high, but boy, you had to wait almost, what, a decade to correct it. So is this another one of these cup and handle type, charts for the record books? I mean, 1, 2. Is that 2? Yeah, 2. And then, yeah, let's take a look. So 1, 2. 1. That looks like an A. 5, B. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to come out of this thing. It's trying to come out. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna label it. You can decide how you want to do it. I mean, I guess it's trying to come out of this. I don't know. I mean, we'll look at what they do in a minute. I don't know this company's name. I mean, I don't know what these guys do. One, 2, 3, 4. That's too short for 3. No divergence there. So this would have to be a flat from that peak. And that's what we got there. And then this leg, 5. So something like that, maybe. But like we've been talking about, may only be 3 waves. So we'll wait and see, but I'm leaning toward it. It looks like it's trying to build to the new highs. And these guys are pharmaceutical. So we just looked at 3 pharmaceuticals tonight, right? Bristol Meyers, the other one Bayer, and now this one. And they're all showing like these massive, I'm not sure what's about to be announced by Trump. What is Trump about to do? What's about to happen? Something really, really big is about to go down in pharma that's going to get these guys all bulled up. We just have 3 charts that are super bullish, and even Pfizer a little bit, but that one looks like it may not be sustainable. And then I found another one. So I've got all these charts in pharma showing these kind of, it's real kind of a head scratcher, but fundamentally it's like, why would they run? I get they're like trying to onsource pharma back to the US and maybe there's money coming in, but that doesn't, I don't think that helps them unless they're just funneling money. Maybe in insurance, I think they cut. So I'm trying to, I have to think about this more fundamentally, why these pharma stocks are showing such bullish, unless they're going to leverage AI more. to be more efficient and make even more profit than they were already, or maybe invent new drugs using AI. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Just interesting. But that's the chart. That's the chart. Okay. All right. Sorry about missing that. Thanks again for all the gift memberships. Again, I'm just kind of scanning through it. The Argentine, so somebody on my channels was asking about Argentinian banks like every week, and I haven't asked in a while. And I think there's been a lot of happy talk with Trump, like bailing out Argentina. I haven't looked at the banks, but I imagine they probably are bouncing, and they're probably doing well. And they were all in box. Remember, we called the major low on my channel, right? The Argentinian bank. We before all the Trump news and talk. So whoever that dude is, I hope you made a lot of money on that. If they bounce, I guess I'm assuming they bounced, but maybe I shouldn't assume that. I don't even know what their symbols are. Let me see if I can find one. Let me see if I can find an Argentinian bank. Here we can pull up, or maybe one of you guys can put it in the chat. One of you guys put in an Argentinian bank in the chat and see if how it's doing, and I'll look at that in a minute. All right, well, thanks again. I think I've got through everyone's comments. That would be good for RXRX, yeah. And when is crypto? Wonder if crypto will eat PayPal's line. I don't know. And then crypto's in full adoption mode. Can I pay for one? Thanks for the back and forth. Looking at that. Love the updates. Thanks. COVID 2.0. There could be. You know, we took that mRNA. mRNA is trying to form a bottom. Now, mRNA has other things in their pipeline besides, you know, COVID shots. So they have this they have this pressure to come out with a way to treat cancer or even cure cancer using their mRNA technology. Now, if that ever dropped, I mean, that thing would be, you know, trading at $1,000, you know. So they have this now. I don't know if they made a lot of progress on it. I don't follow them, but they have some, you know, some dreams, and the market is going to, you know, not really going to pay for that unless they can deliver now. They need to deliver, right? They have to deliver. And, but yeah, maybe COVID reemerges. I mean, it's hard to believe it would. It's been, you know, unless there's a new virus that just emerges, and then all these pharma stocks will be printing money again. It would seem really ironic to have that happen, have the markets crash on it, and then Trump's in office. I mean, it'd just be too weird. All right, so I'm going to end this tonight, guys. Thanks again. Okay, BBAR. Let me try that BBAR real quick. Let's see what's going on. The Argentinian banks. You piqued my curiosity. Oh my God, look at this, guys. So, guys, I had this on my channel. Guys, this is what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know if Lance, you're the one that bought this or not, but 100% gains in what we guys. This is what I'm saying. You don't have to trade the sexy symbols all the time. You can trade the this is just an obvious 3-wave, and we looked at this for weeks, and then all the happy talk with Trump and Argent, all that, and Millie one and all that, you know. So anyway, well, that's cool. Well, I'm glad that I love when our trades work out like this. And this is what I'm saying. Once you get one couple that work out, they pay for all the other ones that maybe aren't working or stuck. All right. Well, have a good night. Looks like crypto's selling off tonight. Looks like the market's trying to, I can't obviously follow the news, so I'm not on X right now, but I'll check it up. But again, you know, if you're looking at the big picture, this is coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. Maybe my count's off. It's coming tomorrow or next week, whenever, but it's coming. And this could hit 45. It could come down in 41.2. It can even go lower as long as it stays above the April lows. And it could be a crash. The other surprise is, of course, 5 is done. And then we go all the way back down, which, you know, that would be all the way back down here. 18. I mean, that would be what a catastrophe. But If it happens, it happens. But then the markets will find a low and it will go into a new bull market. And that's what it does. So one way or the other, we got a big pullback coming on. I think it's this and then the big drop, but then again, maybe it is. So that's why you gotta be careful. And I do think the fantasy dream PE to infinity days are coming to an end very soon. We'll all drop, we'll deflate, we'll have a recession, all that good nasty stuff, all that stuff, and then a big rotation into the builders of the future, energy, utilities, miners, all those stocks. They're going to build out the AI infrastructure that they need to operate all those data centers and all that, and that will be the 5-6 year, mini bull market within the market as it's trying to come out of its catastrophe. That's probably what it's going to be, and then we'll take it one step at a time. But if you follow me or subscribe, you'll get we'll be in this together, no matter what happens.